Welcome back to episode three.
Back.
Episode 3. We trucking.
Moving right along.
So it's been fun, man. It's been a fun 2 episodes. I'm excited about this one. So yeah, welcome back, everybody, man. Episode 3 of Game Time and Headlines. And I'm PJ, co-host, Jay Swear. And we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. But this is one of those weeks where I think we're going to be able to keep it under 45 minutes like we want to. Keep the show short.
Fingers
and
crossed.
Focus. But yeah, it was a good, exciting week 3. James, start it off, man. Offensive MVP.
All right. Well, I got to go with a rookie. And, I mean, I keep going back to Miami, but I can't help it because their players just be that good. So we got Devon A-Chain on 8 carries, 101 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
More like A-Train.
He's running train on all the teams he's playing. So
yeah, he's killing it, man. He's killing it. So I've got 2, and I was like, you're gonna go with one of them, so I'm gonna put 2 down so I can have the other one. But you didn't. You did not. The first person I'm going with both. Christian McCaffrey, 4 touchdowns. My man was insane.
stupid.
Yeah, so he killed it. And I also got to go with a nice game and made the game exciting because of this person. I got to go with Stefon Diggs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely, McCaffrey had, McCaffrey had, it's saying 3 TDs, but I'm pretty sure he had 4.
He had 4
TDs. Yeah, McCaffrey with 4 TDs. And then you had for some reason, I was looking at the Vikings for Stefon. So then you got Stefon who had 3 TDs.
That was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 TDs. So that what a game for them both. So I'm gonna give it to them both. Defense.
My MVP this week, if you watch the Monday night game for the Seahawks, the rookie Devon Witherspoon.
Yes.
Dude had 6 tackles, 2 sacks, and a pick 6 for 97 yards to the house. He was all over Daniel Jones. He didn't stand a chance.
I considered him. I heavily considered him. Great game. And he was really the reason I watched. After a while, I was like, he's in every play. He was all over the field. So, but I'm gonna go with our homegrown Deron Bland. 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown.
At least one.
He sparked the fire we needed for our team, and basically temporarily replacing Trayvon. Yeah, that's my pick. I gotta go straight into it. So outside of that, game of the week, I don't think there was a game of the week. I'll probably speak for both of us on that. I think there was a person of the week, and it's Taylor Swift. It's just gonna be it's nonstop, right? and this is reminding me, Taylor Swift to the NFL is reminding me of Colorado to the college football. Like, people can't stop talking. And I say this lightly. I'm not interested in it.
No.
I'm not interested in it. But it's sparking TikToks. It's sparking conversations. I mean,
she pulled up with squad though.
Yeah, she was
Jackman and like a bunch of other movie stars were there. I was like, oh, all right.
Unfortunately, she had to sit next to Patrick Mahomes' wife, which I'm sure wasn't the best experience.
Probably not.
And maybe she was on her best behavior. But also with the State Farm guy and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's funny.
So it's annoying as a football fan, but it's cool to see the attention. Again, like you saw with Colorado State in college football, it's just something different, right? Just kind of what are we gonna? And I think what's blowing my mind is you got like 60-year-old, 70-year-old commentators. There's Taylor Swift, and like, you probably never heard a song. And
right.
I heard on Fox the Terry Bradshaw decided to say, "Oh, look at that! Just like the Taylor song, Bad Blood." And I'm like, "You don't know Bad Blood. You don't know the song. Someone wrote that for you. Anyway, let's get into the games. So we're gonna go into the games, and we also had our picks. And we got it jot down this time, so we know who picked who, and we'll see who came out on top. We start off with the Thursday night game. We've got the Lions at the Packers. It was surprisingly closer than I thought, and I was wrong because I had Packers pulling it off.
The Lions did it, but the Packers made it interesting in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, it was closer than I thought. The Lions were blowing them away in the first half, and And the Packers decided, hey, let's wake up in the second half.
Yeah, so 34-20 Lions over the Packers. Then we have the Falcons at the Jaguars.
And that was the London Toy Story game.
What were your thoughts? We don't have this on the list, but quick thoughts on the Toy Story. Did you watch?
It was interesting.
Everything was cool except for the players. The filter, whatever they use to track the players, these little big headed. Like, I almost thought it would be cool to make them like normal size in the room. Make it look like them, but instead of a field, it's the room.
It was all right. I mean, I'm sure they'll improve upon it. It is Disney, so
it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Dolphins at the Bills. Dolphins at the Bills. This was a game that we were excited about. We had every reason to be excited about, and I don't think it wasn't horrible. It just fell short of my excitement, though.
Oh yeah, because I mean, the Dolphins, they've been just running through everybody, and for them to only put up 20 points, the Bills defense came out and shut them down, Josh Allen went on a tear and was just killing them. Him and Stefon Diggs, completely unstoppable.
Yeah, so I think this highlighting one of our games to discuss. I mean, again, I think it was more on the surprise factor. You know, they definitely Bills showed up to play. Dolphins not as much. I mean, we can't expect them to score 70 every week,
unfortunately.
But to see Stefon do his thing, that was fun to watch. To see Josh Allen play to the level that people expect him to play, it was a good game.
Yeah. Next up, we had Denver Broncos and the Bears, and that was our poo-poo game of the week, and the Broncos won 31-28.
Yeah, not as poo-poo as we thought. But
not as poo-poo. Justin Fields showed up, but yeah.
For sure. Interesting game. Then we got the Ravens at the Browns.
And Deshaun Watson did not play. And it showed.
I should have had an asterisk if Deshaun plays. But yeah, and that's a game that you took you took the win on that one, because I called the Browns with the surprising win, and you were solid with the Ravens.
Yeah, and I mean, Lamar Jackson, he did his thing. That offense is still kind of coming together under Todd Monken, their new offensive coordinator. But Lamar's doing Lamar with 4 touchdowns. He ran in a couple, threw a couple, and Mark Andrews looking good out there again. For sure.
Quick surprise game that neither one of us called. Titans beating the Bengals 27-3.
Yeah. Bengals they ain't got it.
And Henry did what we said he wasn't going to do. He carried the team.
He did carry the team.
So it was a nice game for them.
And Jamar Chase showed up, but
yes, but it wasn't enough.
No. Next game up, we got the Rams and the Colts, and this was an exciting one.
Very, very exciting. And on this game, we actually had split it. I called the Rams, and so
you won that one.
Which you'll see, the one game I picked right against you. So yeah, a very, very, very exciting game to see. Matthew Stafford, like I said, and 319 yards. He only threw for 1 TD and he threw an interception. But again, like I said, just solid all around. 300 yards is 300 yards. So
yeah, and Puka Nacua showed back up.
So actually, I picked this game because of Nacua and for you. So
appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Right now.
My boy Puka, 9 receptions, 163 yards, and a touchdown to win the game. Looking strong. Cooper Kupp's coming back, so interested to see how that dynamic affects the offense. But on the other side, you had Anthony Richardson come off the concussion protocol, and rookie's balling.
Yeah, he's doing good. So it was a great game, a solid game overall for the Colts as well. So it was one of the games that was good to watch. After this, we got the Bucks against the Saints. So I called that one wrong, which is surprising because my boy, I've been riding with Mike Evans, who unfortunately did get injured.
Yeah, pulled a hammy.
Yeah, I did get hurt, so I'm assuming he'll be out for another week. But I don't know why I went against him. I think that was one of the games I was like, hey, just to make it interesting, I'll go against, because I usually haven't been going against him. But they slaughtered the Saints 26.
Yeah, the Big Show showed up still. I mean, he's still doing his thing on a bye week. We'll see if he keeps that fire alive afterwards.
Yep.
Next up, we had the Eagles and the Commanders, which was another surprising overtime game. Eagles won barely in overtime.
Barely. And if you go back and watch our last episode, we definitely said this was gonna be a close game. NFC East.
Yep.
It's just it's bound to happen.
So Eagles took that one away. Then we had the Panthers and the Vikings. Vikings won 21-13. Really didn't put up a lot of numbers. Justin Jefferson had a couple touchdowns, but Vikings didn't look too good.
Yep, and another game you walked away with. You picked the Vikings over the Panthers. An ugly game, but a game that they won. So
Yep.
you'll take the W there. Next, we got the Steelers at the Texans. This is not something that this is not a game that we decided to highlight this week, but we got to highlight C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
You know, I'm enjoying him. You know, what I thought we were going to see in Bryce Young, we're seeing in C.J. Stroud right now. So
yeah, definitely one of the better quarterbacks of the four that were selected up there, and showing it on a weekly basis.
Yeah, and we both called that game wrong.
Yes, we did.
We took Steelers.
Who would have thunk it?
For sure.
Then next game we had was the Raiders and the Chargers. I think that one was closer than I was expecting, especially since they had the Raiders had their rookie out there, but the Chargers pulled it off.
Yep, and I took another asterisk I should have put, but I definitely took the Raiders. I took the Raiders over the Chargers and lost that. Then the next game, Cardinals versus the 49ers. I'll start this one off because I'm going to let you start the next one off. Cardinals versus the 49ers, you know, it kind of played out the way we saw it.
Yeah.
But again, you know, I think this game builds up to the next team you're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about, but the Cardinals 49ers game, obviously the Cardinals doing what they did to the Cowboys the week before. The assumption was, you know, if they beat the 49ers, it'll make us feel a little bit better. Well,
yeah, didn't happen.
What happened? What we expected to happen happened. Christian McCaffrey went off. You know, the 49ers are just such a great team to watch right now.
Yeah, wrecking ball going through. Then we had the redemption game, the Dallas Cowboys versus the Pats, which we were hopeful the Cowboys would pull it out. But after what they did in the previous week, no guarantees, playing up against Bill Belichick, who usually can put a good defensive game together. He did not.
And I think that's I think it's a tough situation the Patriots are in right now because we're watching this over and over now. You know, a strong defensive coach. You know, to me, he's the Greg Popovich of the NFL. But we may be coming to the end of an era.
End of an era.
Yeah. So Cowboys again did what we expected them to do, but weren't going to be surprised if something else happened.
Right. But they did it on a whole nother scale because they handed him his biggest loss.
In his career
ever.
And then there was the halftime point when it was 28-3, and every commentator I was watching it on TV, and they were, don't forget, we had the same score for the Falcons and Patriots in the Super Bowl, and then I get in the car and they say it again. I'm like, okay, this is not the Super Bowl. This is not going to happen.
Also, the defense is different than what
yes, and our defense played to the again. You even without Trayvon, they were elite.
Yep,
elite.
Back to what we had seen in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Now first drive I was scared. You know, Mac Jones looked like Tom Brady, you know, in that uniform.
He does his impression every once in a while.
Yeah, so it was a little scary, but they got it together. Micah, I will say this, and this is Micah every game. He seems to like pull something, get some kind of injury. He's able to get back out there, but it's scary every week when you watch him when he sits on the ground a little longer. And
I mean, he's just going 110% every
for
play.
Sure,
so
for sure.
Maybe have him take off a couple of plays, which ain't gonna happen.
The next game we're talking about is our Sunday night game, which was the Chiefs at the Jets. I want to call this one out just because I didn't think it was going to be this close.
Yes.
I didn't think it was going to be this close of a game, and Chiefs did win. Taylor did show up, but Patrick Mahomes didn't seem like he really showed up. He was underthrowing, and he just wasn't hitting his guys.
2 picks. Yeah. Travis Kelce, another game under 70 yards, which I think goes back into last season. That he's hasn't after he hyperextended his knee, just hasn't looked as explosive yet.
For sure.
But on the other end, Zach Wilson, the drive right before half, like he was out there dropping dimes.
Yeah, I mean he threw 245 with 2 touchdowns. I mean Zach Wilson, and there's been the rumble, I'm sure, in the locker room, and I don't know if you've seen where, you know, people are definitely saying, hey, Zach can be that guy. You know, Michael Parsons even came out on his Bleacher Report podcast, and he said, give him some credit. He's still an NFL quarterback, and really, I think what it comes down to, it looks like for the most part, it's his confidence.
Yeah.
You know? He struggled with it in college. He's struggling with it now, and it's showing. But when he keeps his composure, when his team helps overall, they got a solid defense. But when his team's on point and he can get in rhythm.
Yeah, and he's going to be battling Matt Canada, I think, is their offensive coordinator, and he's just all right.
Yeah, yeah. So he doesn't have the best coaching staff around him as a whole, The next game, when everything shut down on me because someone decided to call. The next game and the last game was Monday night, was the Seahawks at the Giants. You called that one right. I was completely off. I was horribly wrong.
Giants it's hard to watch. I think Daniel Jones got sacked 10 times and there was no hope.
Yeah. It was a tough game. Yeah, 10 times. I think it was a record because it was like 10 times and a pick six. The first time it happened since like 1603.
Yeah.
It was like 1930 or something like that. Yeah, it was something crazy. So that doesn't feel good for New York. Being from the NFC East, it's nice to see them fail, but it's still it wasn't what we expected.
No. That wraps up our recap of last week. So let's get into our picks for this next week.
Yep, and I'm gonna let you lead this. So start it off.
I'm going to go that we got the Chicago Bears, Washington Commanders Thursday night game. This is one I'd prefer not to pick, but I'm gonna go with the Commanders, just because of their defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will go with I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna ride with the Commanders. I want to see if they can bounce, keep doing what they're doing. I think the game against the Eagles was hopefully a game that pumps them up, because even though they lost, they played really good, and they were competitive against a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah. And then we had the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Buffalo Bills.
On this one, I think I'm gonna take the Bills. Yeah, again, definitely top 5 in the league right now. You can make the case that they're top 2, top 3. After beating the Dolphins, you just don't go against them.
Yeah, and Jacksonville just has not looked very good, so I wouldn't want to bet against them at this point.
And then so the next team that I definitely got to go with. So Carolina Panthers at the Detroit Lions. I'm just riding with the Lions right now. What I'm seeing is fun. What I'm seeing, it's not the normal Lions. So I'm actually enjoying their games. And then, I got to see what Bryce Young does. And he's still young. He's still learning his first year in. So I think he's up against a little bit of opposition. But Detroit's been playing really solid football. So that's going to be a game I want to tune into.
Yeah, and I can't go with the Panthers because they just haven't looked really good. And the Lions are looking really good.
For sure.
Got to go the same as well. Next up, Baltimore Ravens at Pittsburgh Steelers.
What are your thoughts?
We might be seeing Mitch Trubisky in that game, and he is not better than Kenny Pickett. So,
is he not? No, I agree. Unfortunately, I think Kenny Pickett is probably, to me, like 30th ranked. One of the last threes.
Yeah.
One of the last 3 quarterbacks in the league. So. But I agree. You bring Trubisky out, you're looking at your 4th string quarterback. You picked up the guy at Aldi's. So
got to go with the Ravens on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's so far the games are kind of tilted. Next up, this one could be a good game.
Yep.
Houston Texans at Atlanta Falcons.
Yep. So I got that one on my radar again for the same reason with Detroit enjoying them. I'm enjoying C.J. Stroud. So to see Houston, CJ coming in his own, I still don't think Houston's a contender in general, but to see CJ Stroud play, it's fun to watch, and I got him. As much as I want Bijan to win over at the Falcons, I definitely got to go with the Texans.
Yeah, I don't like it. I like Bijan, I like Pitts, and Drake London, but I do not like their coach Arthur Smith.
For sure.
He is a bum with his mustache.
Yeah.
And he likes to taunt the fantasy community, which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah. So you want to officially lock your pick in?
I gotta go with Texans as well. I can't.
It's tough. Y'all don't know. Being from Texas, Houston, and Dallas, we just don't get along when it comes to sports teams. So picking the Texans is always a sour taste. Then we got the New Orleans Saints at the New England Patriots. I think this is another sloppy game, but overall, I think Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Winston. Taysom Hill, whoever you're going to throw in at quarterback. So I'm going to take the Patriots.
And I'll take the Saints on this one. We'll see. Might be interesting.
Okay. So then the game after that, we got the Tennessee Titans at the Colts. I'll let you lead this one because I don't know.
I mean, I'm gonna go with my boy Anthony Richardson. I think he had a good game last week against the Rams, and I think he can be enough firepower to be able to stop the Titans. Maybe the defense shows up.
Okay, yeah. I'll take the Titans. This is a game that hopefully I make time to watch it. So we'll see what happens.
If you're not asleep.
Yeah, if I'm not napping or eating wings or whatever, but I got to take I'm gonna ride out with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is putting on a show. He put on a show last week.
Yes.
Let's see if he does it again. So,
Yeah.
it's hard to ride against him.
Yeah. Next game, New York Giants and Miami Dolphins. This is another
It's a
lopsided as can be.
It's
The
a gimme.
Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins will bounce back into the top 3 teams after this game. I'm gonna call 35 points at least for the Dolphins, and I got the Dolphins winning.
At least
At
it might
least.
be another Broncos game where
least.
they decide to go for the record.
Well,
and
and
put
then
up 75.
and not to spend too much time on this one, but the Giants' defense tackling is horrible.
It's atrocious.
I mean, you're watching players bounce off, and 7, 8 players can't tackle one guy. So
yeah, and if they can't keep up with Seattle, they definitely ain't gonna be able to keep up with the Dolphins.
for sure. Next game, we got the Bengals at the Cardinals.
This one could be spicy.
Yeah, I think this is the one that we have to see where Joey's at.
Yeah.
He's not playing to his level. I believe he's still injured and he's playing injured. But I mean, how long do you go with this? You got to get to a point where if he's not healthy, if he's not playing the same, just save him till next year. I mean, it's horrible.
Shut him down.
It's horrible. So I think this is the game that we should not have to assume. But if Dobbs plays like he did against us, against the Cowboys, and Joey B's playing the way he's been playing, it could be a really good game.
So who are you taking?
I'm gonna take the Bengals because I want to see Joey come through.
I'm gonna go with the Cardinals on this one.
Okay.
I like what they're bringing. It could be fun.
Yep. Next game up, we got the Eagles at the Rams. I think this is going to be the game of the week. And I'm going to go against the grain because I think I know who you're going to take. I'll take the Rams.
All right. Well, I'll take the Eagles then. I mean, even though you're going with my fighting Puka Nakuas.
Yeah, we're going to Kua on this one.
I think the Eagles. I think maybe Jalen Hurts finally looks like Jalen Hurts. He had a pretty good game last week, but still not quite there.
For sure. Next game up. Or you go ahead.
Yeah, Kansas City Chiefs at the Minnesota Vikings. I think this is a toss-up, really, just because of how Patty Mahomes has been playing. If the Vikings show up and can put up points, I think they can outlast the Chiefs. So I'm going to go with the Vikings.
I think this is the game where they have a bounce-back game. The Chiefs, even though they're winning, it's still a bounce-back game because they definitely aren't playing like they should be.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Swifties on this one.
Alrighty. Next up, the New York Jets at the Denver Broncos. For me, I mean, just Denver's not looked good. The Jets' defense is good. And I think Zach Wilson probably has another good game, puts the second one together here, and the Jets take it.
I don't disagree. Really, the reason I want to look at this game is because of Zach. Zach Wilson. See if he can do it again. I think the Broncos are just they're just falling apart.
Yeah, their
they're falling.
defense is
They almost
so bad.
they almost seem right now. The Broncos feel like the Bears in a sense, where like internally they're falling apart. I feel like Sean Payton hates Russell Wilson. I feel like Russell Wilson is mad at Sierra. I just feel like everything's going wrong for them right now. So
Yeah, and I don't even think they're defensive coaches.
for
coaching.
sure. So I'm definitely going to take the Jets there too. And then the next game, which should have been the game of the week, but I'm scared I can't call it because I don't know how the Cowboys are going to play. We got the Cowboys at the 49ers.
We don't know how Dak's going to play.
For
I
sure.
think that's the main thing here.
Well, but I do think this is the game where our defense could drop the ball again, and I don't want to see that. And not that they're just so, again, we've said this over and over. They play to level their opponent. I don't know if they can do that against the Niners. I think last year the Niners played to our level.
Yeah.
They beat us, but it was a sloppy game, right? It was like 19-16, whatever it was. It wasn't a great game. And I think this year Brock Purdy's in his zone now, and he's leading this team. So I'm still no, it don't matter what happens. I'm going to ride with the Cowboys. It doesn't matter how bad it gets. I'm not ever ever, unless we're putting money on the line going against the Cowboys. So
Yeah.
I'll take the Cowboys over the Niners.
I can't go against the Cowboys in that game either. Last game of the week, Green Bay Packers at the Las Vegas Raiders. Who you going with?
So I'm gonna go with the Packers.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Packers. I don't know if I really have a reason why. I think they're both struggling right now. They're not looking great. I would like to see Devontae have a game against the Packers. You know, I would like to see him show off and show out. But for the sake of our picks, I'm going with the Packers.
And I'll go with the Raiders. Josh Jacobs looked like he was actually getting it together last week, so maybe it'll be enough to put the Packers down.
All right. So that really wraps up the week 4 of games. So we'll see how it pans out. I think we do have a lot of exciting games. It's also the first week with bye weeks.
Yep.
So
Cleveland, the Chargers, Seattle, and Tampa Bay.
So seeing some
taking
teams
a
rest. Yeah, so seeing them rest is great. You know, they need it by now. There's been a lot going from preseason into this. So this is the first time we're not going to see every team play. So a little less football, but it'll be a good week. So switching over, Fantasy Factory. For me, with the fantasy teams I've got I have 4 teams. All did horrible. Patrick Mahomes didn't give me much. Tyreek Hill didn't give me much. You know, some of the people I lean on. So I don't have much of an update when it comes to the Fantasy Factory. I do believe that if you're playing fantasy, Nakua is someone that you got to make sure you have in your lineup right now. I still think, obviously, I think Tyreek Hill is still the explosive player in the league. So you got to have him. I think the struggle is a lot of people picked up Travis Kelce, number 1, and he's not playing to his level.
Or Jamar Chase, who I had in multiple leagues.
Yeah, I mean, they're wide receivers as a whole. You know,
Yeah.
T. Higgins.
Yeah, all of them.
Where you pick the struggle, it's a struggle.
I did great last week. I actually won all of my leagues for the first time, so that was nice. But yeah, Puka Nakua, got him. In our league, I got A-Chain as well.
I about to say A-Train. You got A-Train.
He's doing his thing. Lamar did his thing. So I'm feeling good after last week.
For sure. Not bad. So yeah, that's where we at with Fantasy Factory. Again, we're gonna take a small portion of this just to kind of cover what we see in fantasy. We're not in depth, really commentators or analysts, so we're not gonna go too deep into that. But we can at least tell you what we're seeing on our end because I sucked it up, man. And I've got some key players that I'm going to try to trade off. And I did really bad in drafting my bench players. So that's my struggle, is trying to find replacements isn't helping me unless I make trades.
Yeah.
So that's it there. Headlines, which is still sports related. We said sometimes it wouldn't be. This time it is. We move into the postseason of the MLB.
Yep.
It's been fun to watch the wild cards. I want to highlight one team. I got to highlight the Texas Rangers. Houston, we're coming for you. We're going to go past the No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to jump ahead. But the Rangers, they beat Tampa Bay 2 straight games, wild card 3-game series. So to beat them 2 straight games in Tampa Bay.
Game 1, shutout. Montgomery freaking did the thing.
Yep.
And then this next game was, what's his name?
Evaldi.
Yeah,
Evaldi. He pitched great. I mean, he gave up 1 run, but it was already in this, 7th inning?
8th, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, he almost, if it wasn't for that run, he probably would have had a complete game. But
yeah.
But again, he did great. Seeing Evans, our rookie, the rookie for the Rangers, played great. Seager's playing great. You know, a lot of the Rangers look like the Rangers, the first half of the season. So excited, hoping this is a run that they make. We got Orioles next on Saturday. So that's kind of my part of the postseason. If you got anything to add to that.
I don't. That's all. I usually don't watch a lot of baseball, but when it comes to the postseason and the Rangers are in it, then I'm more invested. Games at 2:00, so that one's kind of weird.
Yes.
So as I'm working, that's in the corner somewhere. But yeah, no, it's fun to be in the postseason and to get that first series win to come hot into the Orioles.
Yeah, and you'll probably see that most on this podcast. We are definitely big football and basketball fans, so that's going to be a lot of our focus. But when it comes to postseason, baseball postseason, hockey postseason, we'll get to talking a lot about that because we're big Stars fan and Rangers fan when they're doing well. And it's not that we don't cheer for them when they're not doing well, just they're not our sport, so it's a little tougher to watch 9 innings of baseball. Hockey, hockey's,
hockey's fun to go to.
It's fun to go to. Yeah, I say the same thing for baseball, but baseball's fun to go to drink a little bit and eat a hot dog or something, Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's my headlines. You got anything for the headlines?
No headlines for me today.
So man, we gotta say thank you guys, thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. In the comment section, tell us what you want to hear about. If you want to hear something outside of sports, throw it in there. Let's see if we can
Want to talk a little anime?
Yeah.
We got that for you.
You know, y'all like One Piece. Speaking of One Piece, not just the anime, because I'm barely starting to watch it, but the cards in One Piece are crazy. So,
Yes, they are.
anyways, we could go on and on, but man, appreciate you guys so much. Much love. Again, subscribe, like, leave a comment.
Till next time. See
Later.
you guys.
Later.